If you make your first million, don't just go and start building a house, especially in the village. What you need to do is you plan yourself. Don't just go and build a house. There are so many abandoned buildings and abandoned houses, both in the village and the township, which enable the kidnappers to use it as a den. And most of the times, if government sees such place, especially in the town, they will decide to pull it down. And therefore, you have even lose that land, that house, that compound, the money, and so on. If you make your first million, you first of all you cool down, you relax, you look inwards, you think, you know how and where to invest that money so that it will start yielding. It's when the money starts to yield, then you take some percentage of the money and you start saving for building of your house. You don't just go and pram, you start building a house, you start building house. Most of the times the money may not, the weight of the money may not carry the expenses that is involved in the house building. What it may be done is it will end up leaving the house abandoned halfway, maybe from foundation to DPC, or from DPC, or from foundation to lintel, or from maybe lintel to zinking, and after that you still go broke. It's not advisable that if you make your first million, you start building a house. You can start doing some other things, especially you can go into importation, and maybe into you source raw materials from Nigeria, you export to other European country or Asian country. It's lucrative, especially if you can if you can have yourself sourced some raw materials like bitter cola, charcoal, cashew, uh, coal, and some other powerful raw materials, pepper, and some other dry egusi and so on. You will be selling it in a huge amount of money. When you can, maybe you specialize in exporting like bitter cola. It is when you are doing this export, you start saving the the proceeds. You start saving the proceeds that you made from the business and start building a house. When you start building that house, the proceeds will start yielding one after the other, one after the other. Whatever you decide to do with the money, you can say, let's say, you go into savings. You can be saving each time you go on in a business trip. You can save like 3 million, or you can save like 6 million. It depends on how much you use in running the business. As you can see today, the house of 6 million cannot be habitable because of the expense of raw materials and so on. So supposing you made something like 10 million and above, or 5 million and above, you try and go for market survey. You know the kind of business you are going to venture. Go into lucrative business. Don't do all this business along the street. Business that doesn't have name. You can see, maybe if you are walking around the street, you see boutique everywhere, the same kind of clothes, the same Abananya, the same Cameroon line, and so on. You don't venture into such a business, or you venture into, just make sure that you go into lucrative business. Either you go into importation or you go into exportation. You can buy a store in Alibaba. When you buy a store and establish what you are doing there, you will see people that are looking for that product you are selling. So along the line, if you can be able to have a store at Alibaba and you have the capital to start exporting something, you will see that if you do it like 2 months, 3 months, or let's say if you do it like 6 months, approximately 1 year, you will see people that will start to come and patronize you. Don't forget to like and share and comment on this video. This is Charles Martin's idea. So your first million should be your investment and not for house building. Even if in the township, instead of you building a house, you can go ahead and buy a land, because land appreciates. If you buy a land, maybe along the line, and you have an issue, you can sell the land. If you're building a house for you to occupy, it might, along the line, the money might not be commensurate with the house. So that's why it's more advisable that when you buy a land, you keep. Then if you have money, you go ahead and start a business. But if the money you acquire is very small, You don't go into buying any landed property for the first time. You don't go into land. You don't go into building. You go into investing that money in a lucrative business. How do you get a lucrative business? Go online. Do some research, go out there, do market survey, ask some questions, ask people some questions, know what people want in the area or niche you want to venture. If you want to venture into maybe beauty niche or into whatever niche, beauty niche, or maybe clothing line, or whatever you want to venture, you have to go for market survey. You study the niche very well, study the line very well. You know how to approach the market so that you can be able to survive in the market. That is how it's done. So in my next video, we discuss more about how to make use of your capital. This is financial tips or how to progress in life. Thank you very much.